Today, we're looking at the Hurricane and the Storm, two paddles from a company called Rayox that's been making Padel rackets for 10 years, but now they're making pickleball paddles. And these two edgeless paddles are pretty similar, but I prefer the Hurricane just slightly over the Storm. So let's look at that one first. Here are its specs. The Hurricane's face is 15K carbon fiber and it's elongated. It's edgeless with 2 holes in the throat and it's a 14mm core. And it's advertised as having an Aramidia core, which I've been told is the same as Aramid. It's about 16.5 inches long and about 7.5 inches wide. It has a handle length of 4.7 inches and its grip circumference is about 4.5 inches once you add an overgrip. But we're going to talk a lot more about this grip. The weight is 8.3 ounces and it comes with a 1-year warranty. As for price, it's $225 with a $10 discount using promo code MatthewK. However, I have seen this paddle go on sale and my code was stackable at the time, so just keep your eye out. And now the Storm has all the same specs, except instead of having the 15K surface, it has a 3K surface. Rayox also told me that the Storm uses what they call a reactive honeycomb core, which is supposed to make it a bit softer than the Hurricane. However, there is a price difference, with the Storm being $180 after you use promo code MatthewK to knock $10 off, and that's stacked on top of a sale that's going on as of the recording of this video. So these are just some really stylish paddles. And aside from the differing designs, Rayox explained to me that the Hurricane, the way it's constructed, has a bit more pop than the Storm. I actually found the two versions of the paddle to play pretty similarly. However, I did gravitate towards the Hurricane just a bit. So I was either biased knowing that it was poppier or there is a subtle difference. But to be honest, I don't think there's a huge difference in the touch and feel department between the two. Both paddles are just really solid at the kitchen. These really fly through the air. I'm sure the double throat holes help in that department. And you can get a lot of speed. They're really fun in firefights. And for me, like, you could really place the balls, great touch and feel, great spin. Like, they're a pleasure to play with up at the kitchen. And I would go ahead and recommend picking out whichever one you prefer look-wise or whichever one is on sale. But what I think makes these paddles most unique is the grip. Rayox has been making Padel rackets for 10 years and they brought that grip style to pickleball. And this grip is awesome. I love how comfortable the paddle feels in your hand with this grip. These grooves, your fingers just fall right onto it and it's ergonomical, it's comfortable, it just feels really good. It feels like an extension of your arm. And it really reminds me of how Hesacore's grips feel whenever you put those on a pickleball paddle. And Hesacore, that grip style is also brought from Padel. Both Hesacore and Rayox's grip feel very ergonomical. They let you have a very loose grip, which is how you have soft hands at the kitchen, which is great for control game and placement, but it's also what prevents tennis elbow, because if your grip's too small, you tighten too much, and that's what can create tennis elbow. And so I really like that Rayox includes this grip with their paddle. And if you look at Hesacore's add-on grip, the fact that Rayox is including that on their paddle is a great value, because these things go for like 25, 30 bucks. Although I do have a promo code for them, it's MatthewK. I'll be sure to leave a link in the description. But yeah, Rayox's grip is right up there with Hesacore's. It's really, really nice. And the fact that Rayox has installed it already on the paddle is great, because if you've ever tried to put on a Hesacore grip, you know it's a pain. So I really like that Rayox includes it already installed. And that brings me back to Rayox's background in Padel. It's not only the grips design, but also the paddles designs and how they play. These are really geared, in my opinion, towards the more athletic pickleball players. I think the power of the Hurricane and the Storm are pretty muted and require you to use your body, engage your core, and really bring your own power to every hit. And that's not a bad thing. I think they'd be perfect for people that love to rip every single ball. Like, you can be a real banger with either of these paddles and not have to worry about overhitting or hitting the balls out. And once again, coming from Padel, that all makes sense. My one time playing Padel, coming from a traditional pickleball paddle, I was overhitting everything in Padel. Like, I really had to change my game and dial back my hits. It's the deflated tennis balls, the ultra thick foam rackets, like all that makes you have to really change your game in Padel if you're coming from a traditional pickleball paddle. However, that will not be the case with Rayox's paddles. So if you're playing both Padel and pickleball, I really think the Rayox paddles are worth looking at, just so you won't have to change how you gauge your power between the two sports. As for touch and feel, I think they're both solid. I did find myself leaning towards the Hurricane and that extra little bit of pop than the Storm, but I'm really not sure if that was in my head. The differences are subtle, so I would suggest going with whichever design you like or whichever one's on sale. And that brings me back to price. $235 sticker price for each of these paddles is definitely up there for pickleball, and Rayox is really targeting athletes used to paying top dollar for the best gear. However, Rayox does have another paddle that looks really cool that is much more budget friendly. I haven't had a chance to play with that, but if I ever get to, I'll be sure to leave a comment or a link somewhere in the description with more info. But as of the recording of this video, the Storm is on sale right now for $190. So using promo code MatthewK will knock another $10, making the Storm $180. And then the Hurricane is priced right now at $235, but using promo code MatthewK will knock $10 off, making it $235. However, I have seen both these paddles go on sale and my code has been stackable, so just be sure to check. And while those prices are up there, I would say if you're coming from Padel or switching between pickleball and Padel, Rayox's paddles are definitely ones you should look at. I think there's going to be a lot of value in not having to change mindsets between the two sports. Now, if price isn't an issue and you're a banger that just wants to rip balls and not have to worry about overhitting or hitting them out, definitely check these paddles out. And I also think these paddles would be good for a banger that wants to get into the control side of things, because these really play nicely at the kitchen. The double throat hole really helps them go fast, and they have really good touch and feel. Like, you could really start adding control to your banging game as well. Anyway, to wrap things up, these are two really interesting paddles from a company that's been doing Padel for a really long time. So I'm really excited to see what Rayox does next, and be sure to check these out. And don't forget to use promo code MatthewK for that $10 discount. And I'll leave some other links and codes for some other cool paddles and paddle companies. Using those helps me and helps the channel, so it's always appreciated. And also, please like and subscribe. That really helps me out too. But most importantly, I hope you get to pickle soon, and just don't forget, it's about having fun.